We got our 5 breakout teams for the 2018 NFL season.
Some disagreements. So
minor.
Cam has a couple, I have a couple, and then there's a couple that we agree on. So you'll be able to tell which ones that we agree and disagree on.
Let's start with team number 1 here, the San Francisco 49ers. And by the way, these are teams that did not make the postseason last year. We expect them to be playoff contenders this year. As for San Francisco, Harris, big-time hype team.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo, 5-0 as a starter last year. They bring in Weston Richburg there at center. Richard Sherman at cornerback. They have Akella Witherspoon, who should be really solid there as well. They got K'Wan Williams. Dante Pettis is creating a lot of buzz as a rookie. Jerick McKinnon, of course, granted if he is healthy. This is a team that can be electric on the offensive side. I think they'll have a really good secondary. The only issue is the edge rusher position. And as you're about to see on your screen here, Jeremiah Attaochu is now in town, and I think maybe he could be that guy that creates some sacks for San Francisco this year. So you got to look at Jimmy Garoppolo first things first. He is going to be a top 10 quarterback by the year's end, and I don't think you disagree with that.
Oh, no, I said he was a top 10 quarterback last year. I mean, TBT to NFL Daily after his first start when I was shouting from the rooftops that he's already a top 10 quarterback. That's just how his progression has been going. But I think the most important thing for the 49ers this year, I don't know how much it is sacks, though. Obviously, sacks are always important. Turnovers. Turnovers, for me, are the most important thing for the Niners. I don't think it matters how many. I don't think this team is going to give up a crazy amount of points or stop a ton. I think they'll be league average in terms of defensive points per game. In order for this team to reach its potential, turnovers, turnovers, turnovers. Get the ball back to Garoppolo and that offense as much as they possibly can. They have a great young secondary with the likes of Akella Witherspoon, a lot of great young safeties. If they can turn that talent into turnovers, they're going to be one of the best units in the NFL. But if they're not getting turnovers, they're not getting fumbles, interceptions, maybe some luck in terms of turnover differential, because that's always lucky on a season-to-season basis, that's what's going to define their year, not so much how Garoppolo is going to play.
Outside of DeForest Buckner, I'm wondering who's going to be that cornerstone player on that front seven, maybe Reuben Foster.
Well, they're really deep on the inside, and I think that's where it helps them. I mean, they have a guy like Will Sutton, Sheldon Day, Eric Armstead. They have a lot of guys on the inside, but it's all about Solomon Thomas. I mean, this is the reason why they drafted him so high, a couple years ago.
They need him to create sacks.
Exactly. They need him to be their guy. And also, I will say this, I think the linebacker position, you're going to see a lot of blitzing from that unit this year. I think that Reuben Foster is going to be used more as a free blitzer this year. I think Malcolm Smith, when he's healthy, is going to be used a little bit more like that. Eli Harold has the ability to come off the edge a little bit as well. And watch out for those safeties. I mean, they have a lot of very versatile pieces on this defense that can do a lot of different things. But again, for me, all about the turnovers. They got to get the ball back in the offense's hands.
Okay, they're playing in a tough division against a Los Angeles Rams team that basically won the offseason. So, all right, let's talk about the next team here, the Denver Broncos. And we're talking about a defense that is incredibly talented, just got more talented after drafting Bradley Chubb. They have Von Miller, Chris Harris, Bradley Roby as well, a couple of good corners. And the offense should be better. The offensive line should be healthier. They have Case Keenum now, and if he can be Minnesota Vikings Case Keenum and not Houston Texans Case Keenum, I think Denver will be okay, Harris, especially when you look at Royce Freeman there at running back, the rookie out of Oregon. The wide receiver core is low-key exciting.
Low-key, high-key exciting.
We know what Sanders can do. We know what DT can do, but Deshaun Hamilton, Cortland Sutton getting a lot of buzz as well.
I'm excited for this Broncos team, though I will say this. You know my feelings about John Elway. I think he's the most overrated GM in all of football. He made one good free agent signing and has made one good draft pick. And that was Von Miller, who, what a pick. Wow, what a difficult selection that was to make. And he walked into Peyton Manning. Without either of those two guys, name one thing he's done for this football team. Like Aqib Talib was an okay move, but I mean, I kind of chalk that up to how good the defense was. Like, he's made a couple good signings
too.
And Wade Phillips as well, and he's done nothing since then. I mean, the reason that this roster has gone off of a cliff recently is because John Elway's been one of the worst drafters in football. But this year, it seems like he finally got some stuff right. Troy Fumagalli, the tight end of Wisconsin, is going to be a nice player. Deshaun Hamilton, Bradley Chubb, Cortland Sutton. This Broncos team is going to be a lot of fun. And also in a division where I still think it's wide open. I know the Chargers
Yeah.
are favorites to win, but there's nothing to say that the Chargers aren't going to collapse again. And if Case Keenum actually ends up being the quarterback he was last year, they could absolutely win this division, especially with how good that defense still is.
All right, so more breakout teams, but this is NFL Daily presented by Man Crates. Head to mancrates.com to get the awesome Grill Master crate for the summer, just like this guy. There's no quicker way to separate the men from the boys than how they observe and manage a steak on the grill, folks. The Grill Master crate is for the man who's a cool operator when the heat is very high, just like you.
Oh, hey, you know what? No one handles pressure better than Harris Rubenstein. But the best thing about these man crates, along with what comes in them, is the box themselves. You get to keep the box. I use it as a nice little decoration piece. You can use it for storage. If you're moving a pack, it's a sturdy wooden box, very easy to put together and take apart. So I love the boxes that they come with. The crowbar is pretty cool as well.
Oh, yeah.
You can open some bottles with it. It looks cool parties.
All right, Man Crate sponsoring NFL Daily here today. Let's get to the next team on the list here, the New York Giants.
The G-Men.
And I guess you could say from a narrative perspective, the Giants tend to just kind of pop out of nowhere and have a good season. This could be a year.
They are primed to pop out of nowhere because they have so much explosive talent on both sides of the ball. Sterling Shepard, Odell Beckham Jr., Saquon Barkley, along with the rest of the weapons that they have on offense. Obviously, a lot of it depends on Eli Manning. But look, they have you could argue, a superstar player, an all NFL level player at every single level of defense. Damon Harrison in the interior of the defensive line. Olivier Vernon at the end position. They bring in Alec Ogletree on a trade, who I think he needed a little bit of a change of scenery.
He did, yeah.
And I think he's going to do a great job as the de facto leader of this Giants defense. Janoris Jenkins still out there on the outside, and boom, at the top, they got, in my opinion, one of the three best safeties in football in Landon Collins.
Underrated, too.
This is a very, very, very talented football team who I think last year and the past couple of years got the wind completely taken out of them by coaching. They now have a left tackle who can block, and I think that going forward, this is a really, really exciting team. They just, as much as I love Saquon Barkley, man, I think them missing out on a quarterback this year is going to come back to bite them.
You think so?
I really do. I love Saquon Barkley. I absolutely love the pick, but I think we're going to see towards the end of the season that as important as Saquon Barkley is going to be to this team, not having a quarterback is going to hurt them more. Now, Kyle Lauletta could end up being a nice player. Davis Webb is not, because Davis Webb is really, really bad. But they need a long-term quarterback option on this team that isn't Eli Manning. And that's my biggest concern for them right now, is that what do they do if Eli sucks? Are they going to trade for Teddy Bridgewater? Are they going to try to make a move for, like, Nick Foles? Like, there are not a lot of options out there for the Giants if Eli Manning is bad. And, guys, there's a very, very solid chance that he's bad this year. That's the only thing that's going to hold them back.
I will say, watch out for this name as a year 3 wide receiver breakout, Sterling Shepard.
Oh, absolutely. I think he's primed. Oh, I totally forgot about Evan Ingram, who's the best rookie tight end in football last year. Evan Ingram's also fantastic.
Let's talk about the Oakland Raiders, Harris.
Nope.
I love this team this year.
Nope.
I think they get back to 2016 form. Derek Carr gets back to that year's form or not last year. Good offensive line. Love it, actually. I think the running back core will be fine. Jordy Nelson is there. Amari Cooper is there. Martavis Bryant is there, who, by the way, is not panning out as well as I thought. But I'll give it time in the Greg Olsen offense here. And, yeah, the defense won't scare you per se, but I think the amount of parity in the AFC West, Harris, might actually go into the Raiders' favor, and they win the division.
Their secondary is maybe the biggest question mark out of any team in the NFL. Like, it makes no sense at all.
Agreed. I mean, look, you have Derek Carr, who is really a talented quarterback. He's getting paid as a talented quarterback in the NFL. And look, we saw what he can do back in 2016, so that's what I am expecting out of the Oakland Raiders this year. Derek Carr, 2016 form. Now, the offensive line is very intriguing because at the tackle position, you wonder if Donald Penn is going to be the starting left tackle this season or if it's going to be Colton Miller. Keep that in mind. And then at right tackle, the Raiders have Brano Giacomini, formerly of the New York Jets, who just is not very good, so they got to figure that out. In terms of the defensive side, obviously they have to solidify things with Khalil Mack, but I like Justin Ellis on the interior, Bruce Irvin coming around the edge as well. Tahir Whitehead comes on over from Detroit at linebacker. I think he'll be solid. And hey, Marcus Gilchrist, Carl Joseph, they can get away with being safeties back there for the Raiders as well.
I'm just worried about that back seven. I'm very worried with what the Raiders, if Garyon Conley does not flesh out to be the corner that they really need him to be, they are in deep doo-doo.
I think he'll be good at corner.
Well, look,
a solid player.
If he's not good, that's 2 losses against the Broncos because Emmanuel Sanders and Demarius Thomas and Cortland Sutton and Deshaun Hamilton are going to rip them apart. Keenan Allen is going to eat them for breakfast. And the Chiefs have Tyreek Hill along with Sammy Watkins and Travis Kelce. If the Raiders were in a different division and had these secondary problems, fine. But they are going to get absolutely killed on the outside if these corners don't actually show up. So I'm worried for them.
All right, one more breakout team to get to, but first a word from our friends at Man Crates.
Man Crates, awesome gifts for men in real wooden crates, wrapped in a cocoon of duct tape, or housed in ammo cans that are virtually indestructible. Some gifts he'll get to assemble himself. Some gifts you'll beg him to share, and some gifts are sealed inside layers of rock-solid concrete. Gifts guys love, from grilling gear to old-school video games and more. Man Crates, awesome gifts for men.
All right, let's get to that final breakout team for the 2018 season. The Colts and Hammers, the only...
Andrew Luck, look, I understand that this roster may not be that good. But you can go back to all the seasons when Andrew Luck was healthy and one of the best quarterbacks in football, and their roster was even worse. 11-5, 11-5, 11-5, including going to an AFC Championship game, leading the NFL in touchdowns with over 4,700 yards.
Beating Peyton Manning in Denver.
People forget that Andrew Luck, before he went down, was on his way to being one of the 5 best quarterbacks in all of football, if not one of the 3 elite quarterbacks that we have in the NFL. And I think that the injuries and the lack of an offensive line have really hurt him. But remember, in 2016, he played in 15 games, led the NFL in completion percentage with 63.5%. So now with the Colts, I think that they can win games with this roster if Andrew Luck is the player that he's going to come back and be. They have a good couple of weapons on the outside.
I'm excited about the tight ends.
They have a lot. Eric Ebron to go along with Jack Doyle, Ryan Grant, T.Y. Hilton, a couple good running backs back there. The offensive line is stable. Quentin Nelson. There's no reason why the Colts offense shouldn't be one of the 10 best units in football if Andrew Luck is healthy. And if the defense can cause turnovers, they can win 8-9 games this year. Absolutely. Andrew Luck is the best quarterback in his division. If you have the best quarterback in your division, you have a chance of winning it every single year. And I know that the Texans have Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's not even close to the quarterback that Andrew Luck is. I'm sorry, he's not. Marcus Mariota, not even close. Blake Bortles, what the hell are we talking about? I'm telling you, Andrew Luck is going to lead this team to glory. And I think that they are a possible wild card team.
5 breakout teams for this year. Remember them. Here we go. 49ers, Broncos, Giants, Raiders, and Indianapolis Colts. For Harris Rubenstein, I am Cam Rogers. We're signing off on NFL Daily. Take care.